Hey everyone, and welcome to the Infinite Respawn podcast. I'm Chicken.
I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Griff.
I'm Baka.
What's up, guys?
Hello.
Oak's back, so does that mean that next show he won't be back, or are we like every other one?
I'll be here. Okay.
You locked in for a little bit?
I'm locked in for a little bit.
I bet before the next show you're gonna be like, I won a trip on a game that I didn't know I was playing, and I will be gone. And I'll be like, see, I told you. I knew
Anything's
it.
possible.
Also, let me win a trip.
Let me win a trip.
I'll just give it to you. If I win the trip, I'll just give it to you.
Okay.
Now he's gonna win a trip.
I'm gonna write that down right now.
It'll be like my favorite trip ever too. Like it'd be one of those ones where I'm like, oh, I've been waiting my whole life to do this, and I'm like, man.
But I already agreed.
Oh yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, let's talk about new stuff because there's a lot of it, but I also know we really want to talk about some of the stuff that we played, especially this weekend.
Well, the good thing is a lot of the stuff that we've played is also linked in with the news, so we can kind of like.
Is it though?
Some of it is.
I don't think there's a single Lethal Company or First Class Trouble. Or
Oh yeah, the
Scribblio.
extra stories. Those extra stories. Yeah, we'll definitely fill those in.
All right, let's go. Who wants to pick one and jump in? Nobody.
Let's start with Embracer Group.
Okay.
I'm gonna start with that.
Whew, all right, start me
Usually
off.
that's like a yay, but this one doesn't feel that way. Damn.
So they have laid off, according to them, they have laid off approximately about 8% over the last 2 quarters of their workforce, which is approximately 1,400 people. So that's what they've got, like 18,000 employees, something like that. So I guess it's better than nothing. We kind of knew this was going to happen just based on the fact that you had a possible $2 billion that was going to be given to them, and they just went out and bought all the shit.
Yeah, they spent it before they had it.
Yep. And but the problem I have, which is not in the article that we've got on here, is or at least I didn't see it on here. Their statement on it was we're trying to do it is in there. Basically, we want to do what's best for the shareholders. They're worried about the fucking shareholders.
Yeah, it used to be we want to make good stuff and games that people like and support our developers, and now it's shifted to everybody else's mindset of, well, we need to do what really helps our shareholders.
So it's word by word from them.
Yep.
Still, they have a few larger structured divestment processes going on. So they're still selling off, and its overruling principle is to always maximize shareholder value in any given situation. Now, anybody who has watched this show for any amount of time knows that I have always been on THQ Nordic and Embracer Group for being a fan for all the moves that they've done. But that move, where they started spending the money before they had it, absolutely caused a mass amount of damage to that company. And then backtracking and not finding a better way to fix their problem has just made me lose faith in them. And unfortunately, they go from my this is a good company category to
Trash.
Just another one.
Yeah.
Well, but you know what? To me, what the sign for me is, because for the longest time, all we talked about was THQ Nordic, THQ Nordic, THQ Nordic, and then when that kind of went to just kind of like, oh, we're gonna push that to the side, and we're gonna talk about the main company, which is Embracer Group,
yeah.
and that's what we want to be known as Embracer. To me, that's where it went away from gaming, went away from worrying about creating great product. I mean, they've canceled 29 projects that they've already announced back in April of last year. There's going to be more. The only thing they can do right now is either restructure, and hopefully this restructuring works. I think I give it a year to be able to restructure, do what they need to, or start selling off assets.
They're going to start selling off assets.
They'll sell off assets, and it does say one of the comments on the article that we linked mentions that the Embracer announced last year that they will be going through layoffs until March of this year. So there's probably going to be at least one more round.
I would agree with that.
So they're not done yet, which kind of sucks.
I mean, at this point, I just got to shrug at them and be like, all right, well, I'm just doing what the rest of them do.
My question is, what do you sell? Do you sell the gaming end of it, or do you look at the $1.4 billion or whatever you spent on tokens rights? And
yeah, but if you try to sell tokens rights right now because you just bought them like recently, how much do they actually sell for?
I would
Like-
one if I was them, and I don't know, I can't get inside their head, but you start licensing that shit. Like, just try to start bringing money back in. You start licensing it out to indie companies or bigger companies like studios, letting them try their hand at something. Because as we have all seen these days, indie companies just somehow or sometimes hit it right.
Mm-hmm. I don't disagree with
And
that.
They're more worried about making a good game than they are of, oh, well, we got to make sure we're making those shareholders happy.
Yes.
exactly.
Maybe
Gotta make
maybe
a
you
good game
contact
over
Larian
profit.
for a Lord of the Rings style D&D.
Holy shit! I would play. They could do a trilogy in their system, like D&D 5e style, like the whole story of all three of the trilogy. Like,
You wouldn't even have to do that. You could just put it in the world itself. I mean, because it's massive. Like Silmarillion
I
is a
mean-
massive lore. So it's like, so you
And they could stick it in like the first age or the second age or something. I
Mhm.
mean,
you could do a lot with it. So don't sell off them. I would try to license them out. Try to get somebody else working with it, and then you can get the kickback from that while also still holding on to the license.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Licensing
right now
because
they-
then you still own it, you know?
because they own Tomb Raider and that, correct?
Mhm.
Because they own Crystal Dynamics. But
Yeah.
if that's the case, Amazon has and Netflix. Netflix did have a Tomb Raider thing, and I think Amazon's got a Tomb Raider show coming out. Plus, they've got Amazon's got the Lord of the Rings show that they have as well, that did really well. So maybe they'll end up making some money back off of both of those. But but then now you start eliminating games at that point.
They've got a lot of work to do to right that ship.
Yeah.
A
Yep.
lot, and a
They
lot of damage has
definitely-
been done to their reputation.
Yeah. That's
The
gonna be a
problem you
while.
run into is the people that have the money to purchase it. You don't want to buy it necessarily. So you've got EA, Ubisoft could be coming after some of those assets.
I
But to
think
be fair,
Ubisoft's
neither
gonna
one
lose a bunch of money on something we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yeah.
But
maybe.
between that and their strike right now, so we'll see.
And then I would, but also a possibility that Sony goes after some of those companies as well. Because like Crystal Dynamics would be a good example of that, because of the fact that Tomb Raider used to be exclusive to PlayStation at one point. Maybe they want to try to bring that back into the fold.
Maybe.
So it'll be interesting. I think they're going to get a lot of phone calls. I think
Emails.
he's
Nobody
getting
uses the phone anymore. Maybe. I think they have to break things down though and sell it in parcels instead of it being like, oh, you want 25% of this? It's this, and this. It'd be like, no, we want that thing, and that thing only. And then somebody good can buy Darksiders and take that off and make the next game, and then Chicken can be happy finally.
Yeah,
Who would you want to buy Darksiders?
it has to be an indie studio to try their hand at it, but I don't know. I'm trying to think. I'm not very well. Gunfire is still making theirs, still working on a Remnant too.
Technically, Microsoft could buy the major rights to it and just use one of theirs to do it. Same thing for Sony.
Yeah,
Because
If
both of
anything,
them
I'd
have
want
really
it
good
to-
companies working for them.
I'd want it to
I'd-
go to Microsoft somewhere, like somewhere in Microsoft's little domain. If not an indie studio, somewhere in Microsoft's domain. Just because I could get it on Game Pass then at that point.
Yeah.
Game Pass is quite nice. That is for sure.
Oh God, Game Pass. Oh, there's an article in there about them too. So we'll talk about that.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Sorry if you hear the
Right.
cat. My door is closed, and so one cat's outside and trying to put their hand under, and the other cat's inside trying to fight them. So I'm not yelling at my child. He's not here. It's the cats. I don't want y'all to think that I was being like, "Stop that" to him.
Right. Like he would be quiet for long
Well,
enough.
that's true. I'm sure you'll hear him stomping by upstairs here in a little bit, but
You
know.
stop that.
yeah. So the two cats are having it out. Just
Oh,
putting that
the
out
other one's
there.
in here yelling at me.
Didn't want anybody to think I was yelling at my child like a crazy person. Anyway, carry on.
Next article. What we got?
Do you want to talk about the Ubisoft thing since we mentioned them
We
as
can.
possible, probably not purchasers?
No, that's fine. Ubisoft had their open beta this weekend, and I played it on stream
For
twice,
Skull and
but for
Bones?
Skull and Bones.
The first
Um,
quadruple A game judge by my tone how much you think I think that's serious.
Okay, first of all, no. I played. I gave it a solid time, and for like a basic game that feels like we're putting it into early access while they polish it, like it feels okay. Like I really can't go above okay. Like there's too many load screens. Okay, so how it is that you have this giant open world ocean style world, and your character is your ship. You have a character you can customize that is your person that leads the helm of the ship, but everything is done off of the ship.
Before you get too far into it, let me just touch on the character creation part of that. Because most of the time you get put into like a dressing room kind of setting where you customize your character. I was watching Chicken do it, and your dude is literally, or your person, whatever you're making, is on their hands and knees looking into a puddle on I think the broken deck of the ship or somewhere, a puddle.
Yeah.
And so you've got like this kind of like not really clear view of your character, and that's how you customize them. But there's like body choices, but you can't see your body, and you can't really see. Like, you can go to a shop later
you can edit
and
your
customize.
character later.
Yeah, you can edit later, but it's just like, why would you make this the way that you're doing? Like, I get you want it to be kind of stylized, but have them look into the puddle and give me a fuller view or something.
Or even then, like, if you're on a ship, just be like, okay, we have a captain's cabin.
No, it was after we got blew up.
Oh, okay.
It's the tutorial, like, when I was doing the tutorial, I thought you could pause. You cannot, and it's one of those things that you're supposed to fail it. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm just sailing around, fighting off other ships in this big-ass ship. I was like, oh hell yeah, but I need to pause it because something is really loud. Okay, I went back in, I sailed out of bounds, and I've got like 8,000 enemy ships around me, and I'm like,
yeah, there's no pause.
I don't think I'm supposed to win this, and I just exploded. I was like, okay. So, moving on to the tutorial.
It was a weird choice. It was.
It's an interesting choice. But they have the ship, the whole ship RPG aspect is kind of neat. I like the idea that they were starting with, because you've got to build your ships, you got to unlock materials, you go around, you do these little, it feels so out of place, but you do a little mini game like for harvesting trees off of islands, or breaking locks off of ships, or mining things. It really is just a mini game. Like you sail up next to an island with some like lumber on it, and you've got to like hit E to interact, and it does this little mini game thing that you got to saw down the trees to get it. It's like, okay, it's a little filler thing here. It's a lot of place, but okay. That's how you get materials. But you use that to build different ships, or build furniture for your ship. And the different, you have major furniture and minor furniture, and those are like your accessories or rings or trinkets or whatever you want to call it to equip your ship.
Weird. I built the nice chairs plus 5 stamina.
Well, no. It'd be like I built. It's like a spyglass station. It makes it so that whenever you hit a target who's 250 meters away, it automatically marks them, and it increases damage done to marked targets by like 100%. So if you snipe somebody and hit them, it puts a nice little marker over them, and then all snipes from that point do even more damage. So it's nice customizing RPG aspects to it, and it's neat that they put it into like a ship style. The basic concept is okay. That's good foundational work to come from. But the ports that you have to go into are load screens. So every time you go to port, you got a load screen. Mm-hmm. Then every time you talk to someone, you got a load screen.
Is that because you're coming out of an instance though where you're playing against other people?
Yes. But you can see everybody's boat right out like off of the dock. Like it's literally like a mirror. You walk through it, you can still see all the boats hanging out front. You can see your boat sitting out there, but they just decided, they just load screened it
straight up game service. Is that what that is right there?
Yeah, like that. It's like
game.
It's an okay game. But
that's-
there is no way in any world that I am going to spend $70 on that thing. And I was like, okay, maybe I could do their little Uplay thing and try it out for a month and see how I play. It's $20 to try it out.
Yeah.
No. To me, that almost feels like a damn free-to-play game with how many microtransactions they could stuff into it.
Well, from what I understand and listening to other people that have played it too, they said if you're going to charge a fee for the actual game itself, no more than $30.
Yeah.
Based on the way it's done, it's a very base level style game. The way that it's designed, there's not a whole lot of intricacies.
Yes.
There we go. Let me make sure I get all the letters in the right order. But there's not a whole lot to the game, and I get that. And people that know me, I'm literally standing in a pirate room, folks. Anything that's on the other side of these, I'm standing in a room that's completely decorated in pirates. I love pirates.
Yes.
I am not interested in this game whatsoever.
I was interested, and I think I'm probably not in the minority here. I was interested for a while, because I mean, a lot of people really thought it was going to be very Black Flag-esque, and
Right.
that's, you know, a lot of people's favorite Assassin's Creeds. It felt good, you know, jump off the ship, go swim to the dock, whatever, free, you know, put that in an open world where I can play, and it sounds great, but it's so truncated, you know, and it just a short, choppy, and I get it, like you've made this open world, it's got to have some sort of transitional thing so that you can go into like the towns and stuff, but it really takes away the charm. And I am almost certain that if Ubisoft had not taken government money for this game, they would have scrapped it. I think they put it out because they had to, and the whole idea of it being a quadruple A game, as Ollie pointed out in chat the other day, was that it's about money, how much money it took to make that game. The problem is I think they wasted so much of it in different iterations of it that doesn't really come through. And Chicken's right, the $70 price tag is too much. Like, that's for what it is. It's not a $70 game. And when people say quadruple A, we think of it, like, as gamers, we think of it not as a dollar amount, but we think of it as a quality amount. This is like a, you know, big Hollywood film kind of thing, and it's definitely not. And I am, after seeing Chicken play it, there's no way I'm interested at all.
It feels like it really feels like they just started working on it.
I mean,
Like,
they probably scrapped
they
it so
probably
many
did.
times.
Yeah, I know, and that's the
original model they had for
problem.
it.
Is that the foundation that they have finally settled on? It's like, okay, it feels like you've got something here, but it feels like what happened with Sea of Thieves when they first came out, and it was basic, and it's like, okay, I see your foundation, I see what you want to do. But Sea of Thieves was like, hey, this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
It's on Game Pass. Do your thing.
We'll be
Let's see
working
where
on
it
this.
goes. Yeah, like this one for $70 a quadruple A game, and it feels like you've only just got the foundation started. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
because like I said, I see
There's
see the
still
aspects.
even a very rocky foundation with
Yeah.
it.
It is. Hey, concrete is made out of gravel, so it sometimes has to start like that. And like I said, I find it interesting for the whole ship RPG, heal tank damage meta. Like, I'm interested to see where that would go, or what raids would look like, or whatever. Like, you have 3 groups of 3 people each, a bunch of tanks or healers, and like, there is potential there. But I think it's too late, and you're just gonna sail this thing into the ground.
I think
I
that
also
they
think a lot of their budget went to marketing because they hired celebrities to try to push it out there.
Well, they did,
Yeah.
but they didn't, because that's like one of the things that people are talking about is how very little fanfare this got for actual launch. Like, it was almost like a stealth launch, really, for it to be like, I mean, and how many of us, you know, aside from Chicken trying it out on stream because it was open beta, how many of us actually know somebody, not like we saw a streamer playing it, but like know somebody that is playing this game right now?
No
No.
one.
I mean, and we
Like I
have a lot
said,
of gamer friends, so
Mhm.
I'm not saying that we are the pinnacle and that nobody is playing it, but I really don't think it's doing numbers, and it's not going to.
I mean, I wanted to try it out, but I wasn't about to try it out for $70 or $20.
$20 a month for the
Yeah.
Ubisoft thing.
Yeah, it wasn't about.
Well,
to
they
start
tried
that.
it out for a month, right? $20.
It's a lot
but
of
then
money
you're
to
just trying
invest
it out.
in
You're not
Prime.
owning it, and
Yeah.
Chicken loves to own everything. So it's
I
like,
do. Like, like if it was like $10 for the Uplay thing, I'd be like, cool. I'll throw up $10. I'll try it out. I'll see what else they've got in their catalog so that I could play for a month. But $20, it's like,
or even if you do, like similar to what Game Pass does, and just be like, okay, you get a 1 month try for a dollar. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
okay,
like I'd be down. I wanna. And actually, this rolls into a great thread that I saw earlier that somebody brought up. Hey, companies, if you are going to start selling your games at $70 or wherever you want to move the markup at, then you have to start giving us demos. You have to. You have to allow us to try these things out to see how they work, because relying on the refund system is going to be risky.
Mm.
Because it's like, oh yeah, you get 2 hours. If you don't, then sucks for you. You own this now, even if you don't like it. So, yes, please, demos, more demos. Capcom usually does good with
I
demos.
can see
for the game.
companies at some point trying to make like the tutorial itself 2 hours before you get to the main game.
Yeah, I can
Just
see that.
to
Well,
circumvent. Yeah.
okay, over here in this good company category is Steam still, and I think if companies started doing that shit, Steam would be like, yeah, we don't give a if your tutorial is still over 2 hours, then you're either gonna do one of two things: either we're gonna let people still refund if they're still in the tutorial, or two, it's gonna be categorized separately so that the game is not part of the tutorial. Like, you don't have to refund the tutorial or do anything like that. That is just separate. You download it and then that's it. Like, you can uninstall it, whatever. You don't have to worry about buying the game or anything.
I think my disappointment with the game in general is I wanted them to expand off what they did with Assassin's Creed 4 and create a solo game that was a pirate ass game. Like, it was pirate, and I'm talking, I want their version of GTA, but in fucking pirate world, right? So you get the single player game, and then that same map is then used in a multiplayer setting. Now, you can have the same game that you set up as your multiplayer or whatever, but I want to have a good storyline based in that world that is not an Assassin's Creed game.
I thought there'd
And
at
that's
least
what I
be combat, like hand-to-hand combat, because you have the option to board ships and things like that. Like, you did that in Assassin's Creed. Like, let me also, but no, that's not a thing you do.
Again, this felt like a foundation where they could move to that part. Like, after they got the ship part that they wanted, start developing the inside of the ship and let you have more control across. But it just feels boring and hollow.
At what point do you believe? And this is I'm thinking of this long term. Okay, when we played Sea of Thieves and started out for the first time, yes, to a lot of people the game was empty, but it was very, very basic. But it was there to be with your friends, to be able to go treasure hunt, do all the stuff that you needed to do. Right? They gradually added portions to the game to create the lore that they wanted to, and to develop that world, as well as changes in gameplay. Is it a possibility, because they've been working on this game 7 years, and basically 3 years ago had to scrap what they originally did, and now they've been working on this part for about 4 years, is it a possibility that the reason that this game is a base level is because they've removed the parts of the game to add them in to keep it a live service game? So, we're going to give you hand-to-hand combat on our next update on season 2 of, and just keep doing
I
it
can
that way.
absolutely see them doing that. Like,
If they stick with it and keep working on it, maybe in a few years, this will be a complete game, but it doesn't feel that way right now.
Yeah,
that's
you
the
are
problem. Is I'm
literally
spending $70 for a base game.
It's a quadruple A game in early access, is what that is.
It's not even early access. They launched it. Like, they're proud of it.
It's early access. And okay, this is Fallout 76 to me.
It is.
It is a freaking early access game by a major
It
company.
should have been released in early access. But I'm serious. If they didn't owe money to the Singaporean government for this and had not borrowed money from them, so they were legally obligated to release it, they would have just cut it. Because I know it's not what they wanted it to be.
You know how much money they borrowed from them?
I don't. I'm sure we could find out, but I don't know what the number is. But I do know that that's part of why there was such a push for them to actually launch the game, is because Singapore was going to file lawsuits against them for having taken the money and not made a product with it.
Right.
So,
I think it's going to be like with Chicken's review on it.
120 million, I guess.
good fucking. That's some
120
money.
million. That's but that's.
I mean,
for
well, I guess
Ubisoft,
to a normal
that's-
person like me, it's a lot of money, but to a company, that's
Yeah,
To
that's
a
nothing.
country, it's not much.
Yeah. Well,
you're
don't-
Singapore.
Well,
you don't
Singapore's
have,
worth a good amount. Though.
yeah. I guess they're doing tech stuff these days, though. So
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. It's not 120 million. They got generous subsidies, with a lot of extra conditions for the people working in Singapore. So
okay.
we
okay,
don't
so-
exactly know the legalese and the contract behind the scenes, but there were a lot of
There was an agreement.
incentives.
Yeah. So
I-
they were legally obligated to release the game at some point.
Yes.
I am interested to see overall, because one of the comments they make is it's a quadruple A game. It's very big, like it's a very large game. What is big? Like your map's big. The amount of stuff you can do is big. Like, what are you calling big in the game overall?
The map is pretty sizable. Okay, it's a pretty active one too. Like, you don't ever have any dead sea space. There's always ships around you going about their trade routes, so you've always got something in your vicinity.
Okay.
The customization and the builds that you could do for your ship, I would say are moderate. Like, there's some depth there, but it seems very basic to start. Character customization is
That'll be
there.
your pay to win element that they'll add in
Yeah.
later.
Oh, I'm sure. There's crafting, whether it be for your tools, you can cook too. And then you've got your story. Like, it all seems pretty basic.
So there
for
is a
your
story to
typical-
this.
Yeah, there's a story.
So it
Like, there's a storyline
From
that
Honor
you
had
can
a
follow.
story baseline that was there.
If you've ever played The Division, congratulations. You've played Skull and Bone style, where it's like you go back to your little hub, talk to your people there,
Okay.
go out into the world, do some side quests, do the main story, go back to your hub.
Okay.
It
So
feels
I've got
like
about
the
6
Division.
hours of story, and the rest is
It's the
PvP.
Division meets Sea of Thieves.
okay.
So, except your like customize your RPG character is your ship. So,
Okay.
it's like I said, it's interesting, and I wish they would. I wish they would have started with this and then developed this for 7 years, because then we might actually have a quadruple A game.
But really, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
that
but,
kind of sucks. Kind
yeah,
of
it
sucks.
does.
Although I do wonder, because it's not doing well. We kind of laughingly mentioned the pay to win aspect. I do wonder if they turn it into, oh my god, what is the name of that game where it's a space game where you buy ships for real money and it's like thousands of dollars per ship. What game am I thinking?
Eve Online.
Is it Eve?
No.
Star Citizen? Is that it?
Star Citizen.
Yeah, I
was
kind of
like,
wonder if
Citizen's in
they.
the name, but I couldn't remember the first.
I wonder
part.
if they slant it that way to make back some of the money. Because, I mean, clearly they've lost a ton of money on this. I do wonder if that's now on the table to eventually start launching these really badass, overpowered ships for real money. And they're not going to be cheap. Because if
Yeah,
it's working for
maybe.
Star Citizen, I think that, I mean, they're still selling ships that cost thousands.
Well, Star Citizen technically is still in early access,
Yeah,
and
I
it's
mean,
crowdfunded, and is
Yeah.
still the highest crowdfunded game ever because reasons. And they're finally getting a full storyline. Good for them.
it's only been like a decade.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So,
Well, to slide us into another topic, since we've
Yes.
talked about Sea of Thieves, Microsoft has announced during their little podcast meeting thing, has announced that four Microsoft exclusive games will be coming to PlayStation and the Nintendo Switch. And those 4 games are Hi-Fi Rush.
Rumored. This is rumored. They did not confirm that.
Reportedly will be Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, Grounded, and Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, people are assuming based on the information that they gave that those are going to be the 4 that are there. Hi-Fi Rush makes sense to me. I think it'll work well on PlayStation as well as on Switch. Sea of Thieves can benefit from more player base.
Sea of Thieves
so I
on
think-
Switch, people are really gonna like.
Oh man, I knew it too. When they were like, "Oh, 4 exclusives," my first thought literally was Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, it's got
There's no reason not to put Sea of Thieves everywhere.
the negotiation on that one's going to be interesting too with PlayStation on how much money PlayStation's, because they notoriously take a lot more out of the store and stuff. So that one's going to be interesting. They said that this was not going to be the only time this is going to happen, but every game is going to be over a year old before they'll end up considering the games, because there was a rumor going around that Starfield and Indiana Jones that were going to be moved over. But I'm glad that they said that. What's the other one? Pentiment or whatever it's called.
Yeah, Pentiment.
Yeah, Pentiment.
That one, it's just kind of an indie style game anyway, so that's not that big of a deal on it. And then Grounded, I think it's like PlayStation fans are gonna love Grounded. That is such a beautiful game. PlayStation has a great engine, like like their whole system is built for a game like that. And I think a lot of people, once they play that game and they go, "Oh, Obsidian made this," and then they find out Avowed is going to be released day 1 on Game Pass, you might have a possibility of people either getting PCs that can to run the game, or buying an Xbox at some point to be able to do it. I think this is a genius move, because if you give them a taste of your games, you have a possibility of people buying the consoles.
Mm-hmm. And if not even the console, to get Game Pass, like you're on your PlayStation, and if you can, tap on one of these games, like, oh, this is cool. Shit, I should get Game Pass for my PC. Fuck it, I could go ahead and get that and play Xbox games on the PC.
Yeah,
I don't have to buy an Xbox.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that always have their PlayStation and then they have their PC because it'll run all the stuff, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It really is starting to be like everybody buys a Nintendo and everybody buys a PC.
I mean, we haven't bought consoles. We got the Switch, the Xbox One, and the PS4. Those are our last consoles. Everything else we do on PC, because it's generally there.
Yeah.
Right.
And that conversation right there, I want to hold on to that. Something else too.
That thread.
Yeah, that thread is going to lead into
your mic cut out, so I wasn't sure what.
That's fine. But for staying on topic with Microsoft, speaking of Game Pass, they have over 34 million subscribers on it now, which you talk about exploding. Like that, Game Pass is pretty popular, and I have to say, yes, especially because of the Activision Blizzard thing. They've announced more games that are coming. A game I have been waiting for. I put it on my wish list a while back, and I didn't even know it was coming to Game Pass, but it's Tales of Arise. It's another RPG style story game. I was like, oh yeah, I like this. I watched a little bit of it, and it's like, oh cool, I want to play this. And I just found out yesterday that it's coming to Game Pass, and it's like, well, I might start streaming at night so that I can play this game regularly now.
I won't lie to you.
The Tales series in general are pretty popular.
Mm-hmm.
It's Bandai Namco, I think.
They make good games.
Oh yeah.
I forget that I have Game Pass a lot, so I'll open it. I'm like, ooh, what do I want to play? And then I was like, oh yeah, that's right, Power Wash Simulator's on here, and then that's what I use my Game Pass for.
There's a lot of options on Game Pass.
I know, but I'm always like, oh yeah, that's right, that one. I'm gonna go write my name on a dirty house with a pressure washer.
So I've been having this little gaming existential thing, trying to find something to fill the gap that WoW has kind of like ripped out of me.
Yeah.
I don't have my RPG. Griff can attest to that. It's like I'm trying to find something that I want to play. Something like I can kind of sink my teeth into that's got long-term RPG formats, which is why I tried Skull and Bones, and I can appreciate what it's trying to do. And I was like, oh, I'm a big fan of Diablo 4. I want to try that, but I don't want to spend the money on it. So I've been flip-flopping about it, going, eh. And then they went ahead and showed this stupid goddamn mount thing that's $65. Stop yelling, Eleanor. Stop it. Yeah,
Yelenor is her name. It should be anyway.
Don't make me grab you. So I've been, after that, I was like, Nah, and this is why I can't do games like Diablo 4 because of this horrible fucking
The horse mount thing that he's talking
cosmetic
about
thing.
is $65.
$65 for it. But
Why?
But on the other foot of that, Microsoft went ahead and gave me a nice big present because apparently Diablo 4 is coming to Game Pass.
Look, just because you're going to get to play the game for free does not mean you spend $65
I'm not
on the mount.
spend-
We're
I'm
not
not
okay with
spending
that.
any money on it. I'm not even buying the game.
It's
but
also
it's-
not free. It is part of a service.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
it's part of a service. So I will gladly, because I'm pretty sure I'll be able to link my Battle.net account to that. So if I do ever buy the game on sale, I'll still have access to all of my stuff. So if I do, I could try it too. Am I going to put time into it? Am I actually going to play it? I could,
You can find
not
out.
buy it and just try it, which is what I like. I like to be able to kind of try things before I buy them,
I do
especially
think
these days.
It's funny with this specific item that we've kind of come full circle because if you all remember what really kicked off people's upset with microtransactions being introduced into games in the first place was Bethesda selling horse armor in Skyrim, and now we have a $65 horse that Blizzard expects that people are going to buy, and I'm sure they are. Like, it must be nice to have more money than common sense at this
Oh
point.
yeah, Diablo has some serious whales.
If you've got $65 that you want to give away for nothing, I will open Microsoft Paint and draw you a little picture, and you can buy it for $65
But
for
Griff,
me.
We call those
horse
NFTs,
will
okay?
make them so much better at the game.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I mean, to be fair, WoW makes such an unbelievable amount of money. It would blow your goddamn
I know
mind.
with their
how many people buy
yeah,
their
the
stuff
pets
off
and
their
mounts,
server.
and you can buy transmog gear. Like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
weird. It's weird.
Blow your goddamn mind for that shit. But yeah, like I thought that was like perfect timing on their part, where I was debating hard about if I wanted to even try Diablo 4. They're like, yeah, we'll just put it on Game Pass. It's like, cool, I'll try it on Game Pass then. No risk to me.
I told Griff this story the other day because of this announcement coming out, and I was flipping through Twitter, and some guy goes, and I'm not kidding. This wasn't a troll. This was a straight up person that was legitimately bitching. Well, what am I supposed to do with the fact that I've already paid $100 for Diablo 4? Am I going to get any of my money back because I paid for this, and now the only way I can play it is to be able to do Game Pass 2?
That's
For
not.
those that aren't aware, Game Pass is a separate service. If you buy something, it is yours. You do not need Game Pass to now play it on your Xbox.
Yeah, it doesn't turn it automatically into a subscription fee because, oh my god, I can't. I don't know. How do people exist like that?
I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So, and he says it's also not the last one. It's just the beginning of what's in store
Well,
for.
I imagine this
Activision.
is like a test to see if there's interest, what kind of interest, which one of these does the best, like, how they all fare kind of outside of their current habitats.
Part of that too is he made the statement before the acquisition happened that a lot of these, in order to get them to play, they have to go through a transition to be able to make sure that they run properly, because a lot of these are going to run through their cloud service as well, and they like them to be able to do on their cloud service and not just a download only. So he said that some of them are going to take a while to be able to transfer over, and I think that's the main part, is making sure that it works properly through their cloud service.
Yes, it definitely has to.
Mhm.
Yep. So, which is nice. I like the cloud gaming thing because it's a nice way to try something out real quick before I download 80 gigs or whatever it is, take up valuable space, and like, oh, I like this. Let me go ahead and download it so that way I don't have any skips or weird digitalization that happens because of the lag. But
Yeah.
Yep.
But we've also talked about how people are worried that this Game Pass style is going to like overshadow their hardware thing because you can get almost anything on PC. But fear not. Apparently, from their words, not anywhere near my words, that the next Xbox will deliver the largest technical leap seen in the hardware generation.
Will it? I thought
Those
last
are
time.
big fucking words that I highly doubt.
But last
well,
time
I will say
we
this:
talked
between
about-
between the original one, not the One X, between the original one and the Series X, there was a large gap that was there. But between the One X and the X, there's not that much of a gap, and there's definitely not a gap between One X and the Series S. Now, you do have a possibility of an equivalent of a 4090 being added to this. Keep in mind that you're going to have a large differential based on what's currently in the Series X when it comes graphics. But now they claim this was originally going to have 4K, the Series X, and that kind of went away when they did the release. So maybe 4K, I mean 8K gaming is going to be a thing, but nobody's going to have an 8K television to play it on.
No kidding.
No kidding.
Nobody
Not
has
me,
tens
anyway.
of thousands of dollars to add one.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I ain't that rich yet.
I mean,
Although,
there's a few
again,
people, they make them, so somebody's buying them. But
if you want to buy a $65 Microsoft Paint picture for me, I'll make it for you.
I mean, I remember when a plasma television was $25,000.
Yeah, no shit. Okay, so Xbox Series X came out in 2020.
Mhm.
3 years ago, apparently. We built our PCs in 2017, I think it was, Griff.
Yeah, definitely
So
upgrade time.
about 7 years ago.
Mhm.
This thing can run just about anything the Series X can. And maybe not in like the most extreme quality that it can.
Not at the same quality. I will. It
Like
can
I
run
said,
it.
not at the same quality, but I can run anything that comes out on the Series X, and I have access to Steam and Sony's library too.
Yeah, but
along with
you're,
Game
you're
Pass.
trying to compare PCs
Right,
to that console. They're saying leap between console to console.
right. But my PC is 7 years older, and I still have access to like everything without having to buy. My upgrades will probably be about the same amount as that, like as an upgraded PC or as an upgraded console.
Right, but if you were buying from scratch, it would cost a whole lot more than that.
Yeah, but you get a whole lot more for it too.
Right, but it's just a matter of preference, and
It
there's a
is.
lot of people
It
that
is.
we have this discussion all the time. Like I have both.
Did you
But it's
listen to
because
the last show? Because I played your devil's advocate. I presented your argument, that exact argument. You should be
Yeah.
proud of me.
It is definitely a preference thing, but
Mhm.
I do honestly believe as future goes forward that Nintendo is the only like console that will ever like stay a console, because Sony moves their games over and Microsoft moves their games over.
I think
You
Sony
can't do
will hold
anything.
out a
You can't do
long time.
anything Nintendo wise without the Nintendo console.
I think as long as they shorten their cycle, which it looks like they're about to do, it looks like they're about to go from a 7-year cycle to a 5-year cycle.
Tech does move
Because
faster these days.
as long as they're doing it, I think people are still, from an adult standpoint, you're still going to have less people playing, and there are more people going to go towards PC. But from people that have children, most children are going to end up playing on consoles.
Yeah, it'll be the Nintendo. Nintendo is so child friendly; it's unbelievable.
They're going to have to
It'll be
increase their library to be
everything.
outside of.
And I
first-party stuff.
believe that it'll be Microsoft before Sony does it, but Microsoft will eventually do upgradable consoles to where, oh, this is a new attachment. You just kind of slide this graphics card out, and
Modular.
slide, like just slide it right in. Like they will eventually build it almost like a PC.
PCs are eventually going to go towards modular too. Like they're
Exactly.
already making. There's already a company that makes laptops.
Okay, that just kind of reminds me of the Sega era of things, where they kept adding on new add-ons to
Yep.
keep them alive.
Oh yeah, I could definitely see that. Except we're in the future now,
Which
so it'll be
that
a
was
lot
also
cleaner.
an American thing. That wouldn't happen in Japan.
but
was
but
an
I
American
believe that
thing.
it will
The
eventually come to
32X was a real 32X over in Japan.
but yeah, that feels like
No,
where
no,
Microsoft
over in
is
Japan,
going.
they had their own add-ons.
They had their own add-ons, but the 32X was an actual creation there. Where here we had the add-on that was added on. Theirs was a true one, where this one was just a because the hardware wasn't increased, it wasn't a true 32X.
Did speaking of hardware stuff, last show part of the reason we were talking about consoles is because Microsoft was having trouble sourcing graphics cards.
Their AMD,
Yeah, their
their AMD contract.
Did they get that fixed?
No.
Okay,
They're
but
probably
they know
still
they're gonna
working
be
on
way
it.
better off. Cool.
Well, they're probably working. Honestly, if I had to guess, Microsoft and Sony work with like separate departments inside of AMD, and they've got specific people working with that, and they tell them what they want their chips to be, like which parts they want to focus on, and how powerful the certain aspects they want it to be. And that's how they do a little R&D for each company separately, because I mean, you get a contract for fucking $800 million, they will definitely help you build whatever you want.
I just
Like,
didn't
it's,
know
like,
if there
guaranteed
was
money.
an article that I missed that said they got that resolved.
My
No, it's still-
if they have a problem with AMD, they might end up going the same route that Apple did. Apple stopped using outside companies for their chips, and ended up basically creating their own, hiring their own people to make them. It would be unusual normally for Microsoft to do so, but they are the second richest company in the world and now make consoles. So it's kind of one of those where you've been a hardware company for a long time. You're going to have to figure something out. And it actually ended up saving Apple when they did it with their stuff. So maybe they're look at investment that way if they're having a hard time with it, because they're going to have to do something to be able to sell their consoles.
Yep. So we'll see how that pans out.
Speaking of
to-
consoles, though,
Yeah, to jump back to our previous thread about games coming to PC and Microsoft saying that it's going to take a year or whatever, that's usually how Sony does it. Like they wait at least a year before they'll bring it to the PC, which brings up our next game that has been exploding, Helldivers 2. This, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first Sony exclusive game that is released at the exact same time from PlayStation to PC. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure it is.
Like everything else requires.
This is the first Sony exclusive released, dual released. So, and this game has exploded, which I think has gotten the Sony higher ups eyebrow raise, going, wow, that was a lot of money. Yeah, that was a big game. They've consistently had. Okay, here, let me get that for you.
Let me get what?
There you go. Helldivers has absolutely exploded onto the scene, and they were not expecting the kind of player base, because if they would have just released, they have, I think it's 450,000 people that can play. Yeah. 450,000 people that can play it at any certain time. And if they just released on Sony, okay, cool. That's a moderate player base for a game like that. But that's Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo are all just lakes, like big lakes compared to this ocean of the PC players, which I don't think Helldivers was expecting. And it basically just crashed their servers over and over again.
Yeah. I feel like that's kind of a, like, at this point, if you are a developer and considering doing a Steam or a PC release in general, I expect that it's going to hurt their servers. Like, there's going to be a lot of people.
I mean, Pal World did the same thing. It exploded, and like, I mean, it had a couple million people playing.
The problem you run into is servers are going to cost money.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're not expecting that for it to do what it's doing, right?
But I feel like you should expect at this point in the gaming world,
To be fair, if you're going to have a
that in
problem,
the first month you are going to have an explosion of players. So go ahead, buy extra server, like rent extra servers out of the gate for the start, but also plan to pare that down in the months after release, because the player base will settle out a bit.
I think you can do that if you're a major company like this, but it's hard to do with like Pal World.
Yeah,
because you don't have the capital to be able to purchase
Well, I
the servers.
also, I don't disagree
because
with
they got
that.
to be programmed.
like you have to go back and look at all the other companies that have done that. Like, do you allocate money and resources to these early adapters, or do you just kind of let the herd thin out, stabilize, and then do it? Because Blizzard has done it constantly. Let's open up a bunch of servers. Let's expand this ocean, and then it just dries up and just crashes. And now you've got all this wasted money, all this wasted effort.
Well,
and
that's
it's
why
just,
I think it comes down to like how you can effectively lease these servers and things like that, and how that side. Because I don't know how it works, but I would be like, look, let's get some extras for launch, and then maybe start paring them down and.
I think their problem was originally that they magnified their problem, because game released, servers were having problems, things weren't getting rewarded properly, people were having issues. They're like, okay, we're sorry for the server issues, we're going to try to fix it. Here, have 50% XP and your requisition bonuses so that you can, get your rewards back. Well, what does that do?
Makes everybody
Well, it
wanna play it.
multiplies your player base even more so, and you're already having server issues, so now you just magnified your server issues.
Well,
So-
part of the deal is too, like if you think about it from the standpoint of this is released on a PlayStation 5 and it's released on a PC.
Mhm.
So Steam, is it on Epic? For
Probably Sony does like Epic. I don't know.
yeah.
I don't ever
So
look
if
at
it-
Epic if I don't have to.
So you're gonna have servers for each one of those sets. Plus you're gonna have your servers for PlayStation.
Mhm.
Sony is running those servers at PlayStation. Sony's got enough money that they can, okay, let me
Run as
add
many as
this
they
up, no
want.
problems, whatever, right? Where you're dealing with the ones at on PC, there's going to be responsible for the company to be able to handle.
Mhm.
Where if you run through Game Pass, part of what
No,
Microsoft
PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, and PlayStation Vita.
Vita,
No, wait,
What
hold
do
on.
you
That
want?
Are
was
you
that was
looking
the
at the
first
That was
previous
the
one?
first one.
Okay, I was like
Universal
PlayStation 4. I don't think so.
I was like, hell.
PlayStation 5 and Microsoft Windows, which is only on Steam. I don't see it on Epic.
Okay,
Which is a little
That's
surprising.
surprising.
that is really surprising. Maybe their servers couldn't handle even 5 people on
Maybe
it. But
Sony has gotten disenfranchised with Epic.
But with like Microsoft, having the advantage of having things on Game Pass is the fact that Microsoft will they've got a massive amount of servers, can throw that stuff in to be able to help out.
Mhm.
Like if you think of Pal World and the fact that it's located on Steam, it's located on
Game Pass.
Xbox and all that, for the Game Pass stuff, those are 2 separate servers that right now they're not communicating to each other.
Yeah.
So, that it's probably one of those things, like you're going to get, the best part about it is the fact you're going to be able to play with each other with the Sony and the PC, where you're not even, but right now, because Sony allows that for now, but you're not going to be able to do that with the Windows stuff because of the update problem that we have with Power World.
Mm.
So once Microsoft fixes that part, it'll be all right. But I just you've got major companies that's how they're holding these smaller companies kind of ransom in a way. And if so you're trying to put one out, it's a little difficult to know exactly how many people, how fun is my game, and you're going to base it on whatever your current sales your sales were when you released the last
Yeah,
one.
but going back to what Chicken said before, when he was arguing for demos, maybe you could test the waters that way. Because then
I
you're
mean,
not in trouble if
Not a bad
the
idea.
servers struggle and it's just, your beta weekend or whatever.
Yeah,
you're
that
getting to
is
see
what
a
you
stress
definitely
test
Beta
in
would've
real
been great.
time.
Yeah,
Um,
beta would have been good.
So to continue this, they capped their servers. So after the requisition thing, they had problems. They capped their servers at 450,000 players at a time to further ensure that it was stable. Now here's where it is killer. So 450,000 across all of it. Okay,
Mhm.
from PlayStation and Steam, you can only have 450,000 people.
Right.
Steam right now has 353,000, which means if you take all of the Steam users, you could only add 100,000 from PlayStation to that. Like Steam has added a ton of people. The peak player is 369,000.
Well, and PlayStation players are
There's a big
shooters.
audience too.
They love shooters.
Mhm.
So I mean, okay, so at least double that. You're looking at 700,000 players at a time, and almost just a little over half of them are allowed to play right now. Like, I think
think
this
that's
right here
also
makes
gonna
Sony go, shit. Should we do dual releases? That's a lot of players. That's a lot of money.
Mhm.
That's a lot right
Mhm.
there.
It
So
also goes back to what we've said a million times, is if you launch something on Steam, even if you're unsure about it, it's going to get more notice launching on Steam than almost anywhere else. Because
yeah.
it's
I
just,
wonder.
Steam just
I
has
wonder
the
if
numbers.
Sony's looking at that as well.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
they're testing the waters here.
Like, I mean, it went kaboom. Like, it just hit that water and exploded. Like, and Steam has such a high word of mouth and a community around it that whenever it hits Steam, it makes Steam, I don't know, whatever. It's
Yeah,
like fire
good,
hitting
good.
fire hitting
Get
water
ready
makes
in that
Good
sentence
analogy.
right there.
Yeah, whatever.
They don't make a splash; they make steam.
Yeah. But yes, if you want to release a game, whether you're an indie studio or a quadruple A company, you want it released on Steam, regardless. Because one, if your game is shit, they will tell you it's shit. And they will follow you and be like, hey, these people are actually making improvements. I can't recommend this right now, but I do recommend keeping an eye on it, which I absolutely love reading Steam reviews if I'm interested in the game.
Steam reviews run the gambit of, haha, 10 out of 10, got scared, would play again, to
Right.
actual, here's a list of pros, here's a list of cons, here's what we would like, I would like to see from the game, which is, like, super valuable to devs, too. Just to see where big swaths of your player base are at with their complaints and their happiness and...
And Valve does a good job with its algorithm, like sorting out how the reviews, because I don't know how many times where it's like, hey, this game has had a massive influx of negative votes over a short period of time. Be cautious of that. It's like, okay, something might have happened, or someone got angry, or they did a bad change that a lot of people didn't like. So
well,
cool.
And you can see it too. Steam has that metric, above the reviews where it's like, this is how all time are, this is how recent, this is what recent looks like, and things like that, which another thing of what Steam does that people like so much about it.
Yes,
they make improvements and stuff like that was an improvement.
That's the most important thing, is that Steam gives you as the player, as the consumer, all the information that you want so that you can look at it and you can make your own mind up.
Well, I mean, in Steam, like even your console companies are looking at how those reviews work and how, like when there's an update available, and what that update is set up in there. And now you'll go on to PlayStation and it'll say there's been an update, and it lets you know that one of the games in your library has been updated and why it's been updated and all that.
Yeah.
And and it's like people went, oh, more information you give us, the better off we are, versus not even having a shopping cart sometimes. But whatever.
Then that creates faith that we believe that you're doing it right, and we can kind of take your reviews and how you're approaching the game's releases and updates better so that we can make our own decisions if we want it or not.
Yeah.
Like Skull and Bones, I do not want it. No. I don't want it. I'm sure.
I
don't want it. Not at all. Whatever. Moving on from it. But Helldivers 2, yeah, people seem to be enjoying the shit out of it right now. Seems
those
to be a
that
good
can
game.
play it,
Yeah, those that can play.
I want it, but it's like, nope, I gotta wait.
But
that all evens out.
Mm-hmm.
They'll release a season 2 or whatever, and then it'll boom back up again probably.
Yeah. They have said that there is no PvP in that game and will never be PvP in that game because they don't want that kind of toxic environment in their game, which is like, cool. That's perfectly fine with me. I completely understand that.
When and watching some of the streamers that I watch that have picked up randos, like they've been great.
I don't like
randos. They've just. Well, I'm not a rando fan either, but they're like talking and they're like, oh yeah, dude, I'm just here to have fun. Let's have a good time, blah blah blah, and they're just. Just enjoying the play, which I think is awesome.
I'm glad that's the. It's been a long time since I was okay with actually talking to randos because of the treatment that I got, mostly because I'm a girl, but in general, I'm glad that it's gotten better.
I did not, for the record. I was nice to a girl online, and I got a wife on. Come on.
That's fair.
So be nice.
Hey, you never
also
know. Got Baka out
You're
of
welcome,
it too,
chicken.
Okay.
I got a second partner over there.
And then I guess we dragged Oak into it. What it is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I got you hooked on Halo to start with, so I'm gonna
actually Red versus Blue got me hooked on Halo. You let me try it out.
And for this Oak, I saw somebody suggest this. Microsoft, do it. God damn it. Make a good game. But I saw somebody go, hey, Helldivers 2. Yeah, you know what would be a great concept for a game with Helldivers 2? Halo ODST.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be interesting.
Like, holy shit, a squad of 4. Mm-hmm. You drop onto one of the planet areas, into a city or into a battlefield, and you have to work out the mission, and then you get extracted. Come on.
We said a few weeks ago that if they were going to do it, when they were talking about the fact they scrapped a BR, I said that's what should have been was an ODST anyway.
Oh my God.
Considering the fact that if you look at Helldivers 2, that's what it looks like when it hits the ground.
Mm-hmm. That would be so good for a fucking concept of a Halo game.
Microsoft
even if you did it first person instead of third.
Y'all just need to understand that you can let Master Chief rest we will be okay playing the Halo franchise as ODST Shock Troopers. I mean,
Oh
that's,
my god.
you know,
I mean, that was a popular game. It was
It
short, but
matched,
it was
like,
popular.
You
Had
could be
Nathan Fillion in it.
ODST members on the fucking Fall of Reach missions. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
I mean, you could go,
environments
there's
that you
tons
know?
of places that you could insert that as side stuff for the troops, you know, the ODSTs. That'd be great.
So many
We don't have
options.
to be Master Chief. We're fine
No.
being another player, another
Yeah, I'm
character.
fine being just an ODST member. I don't have to be a Spartan. I don't
As
have
long
to
as
be
I get to customize
superhuman,
my outfit still.
which you probably could if you were an ODST member.
Yeah, I'm sure you could.
Mhm.
Like, holy shit.
Oh, they're
come
always
on.
going to have
We're
cosmetics.
literally
That's not going
we're
anywhere.
drop ship troopers.
Yeah.
We're like drop ship. Come on, you could
Yeah.
have done so much with that.
That would have been so
Well,
cool.
even-
I mean, you still can. They've got time.
Yes, do it. It's not. You can't. It's, look at
Infinite
Power
wasn't
World.
great. Don't go back to
Look
Master
at
Chief.
Power World stealing from Pokemon. You could steal from Helldivers. Let's go. Just make
It's
it.
not stealing. It's borrowing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
inspiration.
genre.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
Yeah.
genre.
do it. Holy shit!
Because
Give
there's
me an ODST game like that.
Because and I can't think of the name off the top of my head. The dinosaur game that I loved so much that was first person shooter.
Turok?
Oh,
you
I
could-
think I know what you're talking about. No, it's not Turok. It's on Steam.
Orion?
Yes,
Oh,
it's
no,
even
no,
on.
no.
Game Pass too. I think.
Is it? Shit.
Yeah.
Exoprimal?
Yeah.
No.
Yes. No,
Was
no,
it
it's not
Exoprimal?
Exoprimal.
No,
No,
it's not
Exoprimal.
Exoprimal.
It's
It's the one that we played.
That we played Exoprimal. It was a dinosaur shooter.
no, not that
You were in
one.
mechs. I don't know what other
No, not the
dinosaur
ones in
shooter we
Max.
played.
No, there's one. You're just normal. You're dropping down, and you have to do. You go in, and you're fighting hordes of dinosaurs in an area. You try to clear out a whole area and a whole map.
That crappy game that we played, that Orion one where Ollie
No,
designed the
not
butts.
that one. No,
No.
not that one.
Okay.
Don't worry. Here, we're gonna move on to the
Still
second
best
one.
butts in a game, Ollie. Good job on that one.
Yeah. Well, and I will come back while looking through my
Best butts
log.
in a game.
Well, okay, second runner up because I think Jen from Ghost
Jin
of Tsushima,
Sakai?
yeah, best butt in a game. I think that's the winner, but you know,
I
I'll
mean,
give
you
you
got to
runner
see
up,
it.
Ollie.
Second Extinction.
What?
Second Extinction.
Yeah.
I
Yes,
don't
second
remember playing
extinction.
that.
You didn't.
Okay, you said we, and I thought you meant all
Well, I
of
meant
us.
we as me and him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But the that's what it reminds me of. Watching people play, except that's in third person. But just going in, having your missions, fighting off the hordes of whatever, and I think what they got right in Helldivers 2 that they did not get right in Second Extinction was because you had all those bugs, like they needed more dinosaurs. Like Second Extinction needed more dinosaurs. If you had
Almost like
more of
you-
those, there was too much downtime.
Yeah, that was 4 years ago. Was the last time I played that game.
Dude, I love it though. It's really
Oh,
fun.
man.
I enjoy it.
Anyway, it's like that one definitely far back.
Yep.
Let's see. There's just two little filler articles. Nintendo Switch 2.
Isn't it 3?
What?
I
I don't know.
I had 3
yeah,
left.
There's three. There's 3 left.
Okay.
Nintendo Switch 2. I was calling for holidays at the end of this year. Apparently, it's the first quarter of next year, so I was pretty close. Pretty close.
Well, I know the
Rumored.
Wii U was released. No, the Switch was released in like May, wasn't it?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
It was close to summer.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this, like, usually quarter one is good to kind of get the initial reaction and the people buying it right out of the gate, so that when the holidays come around, it's not so hotly contested, like dangerously contested. It's like a lot of people already have it, but then the second big wave of sales is going to come in for the holidays because everybody and their everybody family member is going to want one.
And rumor has it. I don't know if it's from Nintendo that pushed out that information or if it's just people that are insiders. But supposedly, all of your Switch games, including the digital version of your games, will play on the new one.
Mm.
Now,
That's how you sell
this is
consoles, too.
Nintendo we're talking about at the end of the day. But
That's how you do it.
supposedly-
You want to make the transition easy? You make it so that they can take their library and move it with them.
Mhm.
I feel like Chicken's favorite GIF is applicable to that. Huh?
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 Huh? Sorry, it's my favorite GIF in the world. I'm gonna
I
post
put it
right
in
now.
there.
Oh, there it
It's
is.
just,
Oh, that's the one version of it. Hold on.
Well, that's the one that I picked. Sorry.
You gotta
I got two going on over
the
here.
the double, huh? All right.
Carry on.
Oh my god.
But yeah. That is the rumor is early next year for the Switch 2. So I'm sure we'll be seeing more of it. Also, there's rumors of Pokemon Heart Gold or Soul Silver remakes in the works too. We'll see if that's true, because if so, I'm buying it right away. Day one. Sorry, Griff. It's going into my library regardless. Period.
What are you
Yes.
buying day one?
Pokemon Gold and Silver remakes, if it's true.
Oh, you and Ollie both, I'm sure.
Oh,
They
yeah.
make them in the style with like the 3D running around.
Let's go Johto.
Hmm.
Yes.
But you guys have fun.
Oh yeah, I definitely have fun. I will fucking have a lot of fun. All right, don't worry. Here, this next one's for you, Griff.
Mm-hmm.
So the Silent Hill trailer came out a couple weeks ago, I think it was.
Mm-hmm. Because we talked about it. On the show.
And a lot of the talk about was it was kind of mediocre. You know, not
Mhm.
it was okay.
It
The
did not
envir-
look like what they thought it would look like.
like all the environments and everything looked pretty damn good. The sounds were pretty damn good, but the character looked a little
Well, some
stiff
of
in
the
his
sounds were, some of
movements.
them weren't, like the gun sounds.
The gun sounds, so, like the music was good. The
Mhm.
audio music was good, but a lot of the or nuanced stuff like the gun sounds or the stomping or things like that, and the character details and the monster details were just a little
Mhm.
not up to where we would expect them to be for this kind of release.
There's a reason for
Um,
that.
Yeah. So first of all, the CEO watched
Of
the
Bloober
trailer.
Team.
Yeah, the Bloober team watched the trailer and was giving feedback on it and was not.
Yeah, there
happy.
was a whole video. There was a video here. It's gone now. Silent Hill.
Yeah,
Records
they
for you
they
guys.
they
But-
took it down
yeah.
right away. Like, it was taken down pretty quickly.
But it definitely is of the vein of it. It's not in the spirit of what they have now. It was an outdated set of images or videos that somebody at Konami cut together. They didn't care for how it was cut together. And it's just not representative of where their work is currently. Which is what we talked about on the show too. Is like that's probably older footage and things like that. And apparently it is. But this rift between Konami and Bloober Team, like, Konami, seriously, y'all used to be so good at things. And then somewhere you lost your damn collective minds, and this is what we get for it. Like,
Yeah, they're more
somebody-
focused on making money through gambling now.
Yeah, the pachinko machine era
Then
is
keep
in full
your
effect
goddamn
here, so.
shit in your company and let Bloober Team handle
Well,
this.
that's what should
Let
have
them
happened, in
just
my
do it.
opinion. Is you're the publisher, and you're like, hey, we gotta show this off. Can you cut us together a trailer? Let them do it. And they,
Mhm.
put that out. Don't be like, hey, we got this like tech demo footage from 6 to 8 months ago. How about we cut that together? Does anybody know how to use a video editor? Well, my kid, he's 13. He knows how to do video editing with YouTube stuff. And then like, that's what you get is amateur stuff. I'm not saying that's exactly what happened. Sure, there are 13-year-olds that are great at editing.
Which,
I'm
to
just
be
saying.
fair, if this is footage from a long time ago, I totally get why they were like, we're going to cook this for a little longer. We're going to polish this thing to the end and
Mhm.
make sure that we are happy with it before release. And I want to see a September release from this, like right before the Halloween season, so that right before, because you're going to buy horror games. Everybody's going to be buying horror games for streaming or playing purposes, things like that.
Yeah.
And that gives them plenty of time to polish it all the way to the end. Like, do not stress. Like, even if you don't need that extra 5 months, do
Take
it anyway. Take it anyway.
Go
Like,
back
just
and
go
look at
back through-
everything.
Yeah, and go back through, test it, run it, do some internal tests. Like, just take your time with it and make this thing perfect,
Yes.
or at least as close as you can to perfect.
There's going to be a lot of scrutiny on this game because of what it is, because of how long it's been in development, because of, Konami and Bloober's respective pasts and things like that. Like, this
There's
got to
a
be
lot
a
of
make or it's a make or
passive
break, and it's got to
aggression.
make.
Definitely a lot of passive aggressiveness between these two companies.
Yeah, I
too.
mean, Bloober already had called out in a very passive aggressive way the silence from Konami on the game and its development anyway. and then this, and it's like, oh, they.
To be fair,
you know,
I mean, if I'm Konami, I'm perfectly fine with being the bad guy. It's like, fuck, whatever. I don't care. Let Bloober Team be the good guys. Maybe people invest in them. Nobody cares about us anymore anyway.
I don't
they
think that's
can't
how
get
they
it.
think about it, though.
Why? We're not their market anymore. They don't care. Like the gamers, whatever. We don't buy whatever
Pachinko
Pachinko
machines
machines they make anymore anyway. Konami's pretty much like out the door. They just kind of peek in through the window and go, "Oh, hey, and get out of that window. Get out of here. Go back to your other building." And they're like, "Oh, okay, whatever. You guys want to buy Silent Hill? Not from you. Come here, Bloober. I'll buy it from you. Shut up. Go back to your building." So they don't care. I mean, they're going to be making money off of it anyway, and it makes Bloober look a little better. So, I mean, like I said, if I was Konami, I'd be like, whatever.
When this
Still
kind of
gonna
stuff
make
comes out, I just imagine Kojima somewhere sipping his tea and seeing it and being like, "I told you so." You know, like, because that's kind of why
that they're
he
hard
got.
to work with. Oh, come on.
Yeah, like that's kind of
Yeah.
why he left them anyway. It is why
That
he left
he's-
them is
That-
because
that and he's
they were
kinda nuts,
just.
and he's hard to work with too.
Well, he is also
Yeah.
hard to work with, but it's one of those things where they are just impossible people. So
Well, it's two sets of impossible people trying to work together. I'm surprised the
Yeah.
relationship lasted as long as it did.
I think it was contractually obligated to last as long as it did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we can hope. I'm gonna hope that it's gonna be great and that Bloober is gonna really pull out the win here. And I hope that if that happens, I'm gonna say when that happens, everybody praises Bloober and not Konami, just because Konami's sticker is on the front. I hope
don't
that
be
people
fucked
aren't
up,
like,
Konami.
"Hey, Konami finally turned it around." It's like, no, they
No.
finally gave their franchise to a company that could turn it around.
Hell yeah. Let's go, Bloober. I got faith in you. Do your thing. Make it great. Make it great again.
Make games great again.
Hopefully.
Make games great again.
Please stop.
You want to talk about the quick Pal World thing before we actually talk about game stuff that we've been playing?
we can merge in our Pal World discussions because we've been playing a lot of it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
People are doing clickbaity articles. It's just a bunch of bullshit. As a podcast, we talk a lot about video games, and if you are done playing a game, or if you're playing an early access game and you're just done,
It's
Go
okay to
ahead.
go play something else.
go play something else, which we have spoken about so many ungodly times. If you're done playing a game, fine. I got way more than $30 out of Pal World, but I'm still playing it. But for the other people who've gotten $200-300 out of it, you don't have to keep playing it.
In fact, this podcast, the original tagline to this podcast was "There's no such thing as game over."
Mhm.
So at the end of the day, play whatever the hell you want to and
Yeah.
enjoy it.
And you can leave
Yeah.
and come back, but I mean that's kind of what the headlines
back
were:
later.
is Pal World's losing so many players. Oh no, it's already falling off. It's like, well, it's early access, and a lot of people jumped onto this game specifically to run themselves to the level 50 and be like, okay, well, I've caught the last boss. What am I gonna do now? I guess I'm just gonna quit. It's like, okay, first of all, you burned through that really fast. There's a lot of stuff to do. Secondly, if you are going to burn through it that fast, that's fine. It's still an early access. There's going to be updates, and you're probably going to want to come back for it. And some people bought it with the intent to play it for a few hours and then shelve it until it was a finished game. Although, as we know with early access, sometimes that's, you're going to be waiting a minute if it's like some of the other games. But
Well, and
Okay.
considering that company still has Craftopia they're working on, it could be a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah. To give a little bit of, let's see. I don't know when this game was released. Okay, damn, that far back. All right. So I'd like to look at the Steam charts every now and then to see how games are fluctuating. So Pal World had a peak 2,101,535. Right now they're averaging about 305,000, about 300,000 players every day. Not bad. Not
Same as
fucking bad.
Helldivers 2, which we just said how popular it was.
Yeah, Helldivers 2 is literally number 3. Pal World's number 4. PUBG is number 5. Apex is 6. And Baldur's Gate 3 number 7.
still,
Like, yeah, these games are still holding on pretty damn well. And if I'm the Pal World developer and people are like, oh man, they don't have 2 million people. We got 300,000 people playing regularly. That's
think we're
fucking
fine.
plenty.
That you can see. That doesn't
Yeah.
count the Microsoft.
Yeah, that doesn't even
side of
count
it.
the other one. But, okay, so Pal World's been out for about a month or so. They have accumulated a total amount of 581,103,887 hours played total in about a month from players. Counter-Strike 2 has been out for a long time. It averages about 1 million players. Their hours played since release is 536 million. So in a month, more people have put hours into Pal World than Counter-Strike 2. And nobody else is close.
Wait, does
by the
that
way.
include though? Because if you have a live server, does it include the time that that server's live?
What server? Like their official servers. Like whoever has it open. Like
I think
Steam
it only
keeps track
counts
of how long
logged
your
in
game is
player
open.
count.
Like if your game is
Okay.
open, that's what it counts as.
Yeah.
Okay, so like when you log in.
And you
And
open the
it's-
server, it's not counting him
it's-
twice.
No. It's not counting you twice. It's
Yeah, but
581
I'm saying that's
million
24
hours.
hours that thing's open versus somebody going in and
It's
playing
not open
games that last
24
15 minutes
hours.
time.
So yeah, 581 million
are.
hours that game has been open for in a month. That's accounting all of us playing it on Steam alone.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
I don't
lot
have
of
a problem.
fucking
You have
hours
a
that people have
problem.
put in for just a little over a month. Actually, I think tomorrow is a 1 month from release, and it has had that many hours. But that's the thing is people who play Counter-Strike 2 don't play for such a long sessions. They
Mhm.
jump in, play a few hours, and then log off.
Mm-hmm.
But Power World, people were doing like 24 hours, leaving their servers up, staying logged in the game for days and weeks at a time. Like it is just incredible. And like the developer says, when you're done, go ahead,
It's fine.
log off, go
Yeah.
play something else. When we get updates, feel free to come back, try out the new stuff, and then go play something else. You're not obligated to keep playing.
Mm-hmm.
There are
And you shouldn't
millions of
feel
games out there.
obligated to keep playing too. Like that's one of the things that's kind of refreshing is so many games, especially live service games now, are like, here's our treadmill, get on it and never ever leave. Don't leave. Come here every day. This game's
Oh,
like,
What do you
God,
pay
"Hey,
for that
you're
game?
done."
30 bucks?
Yeah,
What?
yeah, it was 30.
Yeah,
Well, we
30
got
bucks.
it on slight discount because
Yeah, it was,
they offered
it was
like
we got
10
it.
or 15%
It was 10% off. We basically didn't pay sales tax on
Yeah, I
it.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't a big deal.
$29.96 is what we paid for it.
I've definitely
Yeah.
gotten $30 worth out of it.
Yeah.
Well, that's my thought process. Is like, did you get $30 worth out of
yes.
this game?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, I
Did you
am
get
still-
$70 worth of out
I
of
have. I have
Skull-
over 100
No,
hours.
I'm
did you
saying
get-
out of Skull and
Yeah.
Bones, did you get $70 worth? The answer is no. You can't get $70 worth out of it, but I can out of Power World, and it cost me $30.
Yeah,
In fact, I
actually
feel like
don't-
I would have paid $50 for that game, knowing it's the early access, just to know that I'm supporting the developers at the end of the day because of how well that game is built so far. So, like, as long as I feel like they're putting money into it, I don't have a problem paying the extra money. But you know that I love the game. I love Power World. I think it's
Mhm.
great. I have not been playing it since I got back. Well, I played it twice since I got back.
I was on it
But-
earlier and I was like, no, I have to do the podcast, but I need to build these
Yeah.
walls.
I've got a new addiction over the last 2 days.
Oh, is it the Deep Rock one?
Yes, sir. Deep Rock
Yeah.
Survivor.
I was
Oh
this
my
close
God.
to buying it. It was $6. I was like, God damn, another cheap fucking auto scroll. Oh God.
Auto
auto
shooter.
paddler. Yeah, auto
No
shooter,
thanks.
whatever it was.
Oh, my
man.
God.
I'm glad
And
you
it's
guys
so-
enjoy those.
It's an
Uh,
interesting gameplay, and I like the genre. I like it starting to kind of like blow up too. We're starting to get these little gems start coming out of it. Yeah, you like that? Yeah, gems coming out of it. Yeah,
I do. I didn't see what you
yeah,
did there.
Yeah. But yeah, I like this new genre that's kind of starting to blow up from it. It's nice to see different things like that kind of take hold.
Well, and I'm a fan of Deep Rock anyway. I love, and it's got a massive amount of people that love that game. You'll hear the Rock and Stone people everywhere.
Rock and Stone.
But
Sorry, it's a meme.
They,
Don't mind them.
but what I find interesting is they chose to go single player right now while it's in early access. To be fair, Vampire Survivor used to be single player as well, and they've added multiplayer to it. I don't know how you would do it with this game. So a possibility that you could end up doing it with this, if you'd have to increase the size of the maps by far.
Oh yeah, for
um,
sure.
I like the fact that you can pay the $6.99 or whatever it was for the game, or you can get pay. I think it's $6 more, and you can do the supporter pack that supports the developers. If you is it Ghost Ship? I think is the name of the group that makes it. What they do differently. Like, I love auto shooters in general, but I like the way this one's designed too, is the fact that just like in the regular Deep Rock, your character starts at 0 and you have to build up to be able to unlock certain items for that character or abilities for that character. But you don't do it as you go. It's once you've died and you need to go back in. Once your character reaches up to that level, now you might have unlocked the next character. You get to, I think it's level 3 or no, level 7. Once you get a character to level 7, it unlocks the next type
That
of
sounds like that
characters.
other game you were playing, Chicken.
It does. It's a lot like
What was the name of the other one that you were doing?
you played it too, Oak. It was
Death
shit.
Must Die.
Yeah, Death
yeah,
Must Die.
It's a
Just
little
Death
different.
Must Die.
Death Must Die. You're not picking up like where Death Must Die. You're picking up different chests and stuff off the ground and things like that.
Items and things like that.
Yeah. So what this is you're gonna have 4 slots. As you have a weapon, you're gonna have specific weapons to each one of the characters. Then you're gonna have ones that are shared weapons, ones that you can unlock as you play through the milestones. Remember the milestones from Deep Rock? I don't know how much y'all played Deep Rock.
We didn't
but
play enough of it, but I'm starting to get a little itch to try
oh,
it
dude,
again.
I am too. I want to play Deep Rock so bad. But there's milestones that are in the game that help you unlock different stuff. Same thing with this. Once you've, I don't know, gotten 250 gold, that might unlock a certain weapon or certain ability. But you'll have those 4 slots. There's 5 levels per area. And you try to make your way through each one of those levels. Deep Rock kind of allowed you to take your time and make your way through the different objectives. And then you chose when you wanted to do whatever the big bad thing was and then leave. With this one, it is timed, but instead of having a timer, it's got a bar across the top, and it tells you when a swarm is coming. It tells you when a drop ship is coming to be able to grab some stuff out of there that might help you. You still have to pick up the different minerals and things like that, because you use those to increase your skills. Once you've died, you go in and you can increase how much health you have, what your critical damage might be, how often you reload. Things like that are done that way. Plus, they're done inside the game itself. And I really like that they did it that way, and it goes across all your characters. So it's not just, okay, well, now I've got to unlock all this for those characters. It doesn't do that. It increases all of theirs, which is nice. At level 9, you increase your second version of each one of your characters. So you might have the scout might have a recon for his second one, and then so you can get up to level 9 on it. And it's really well done. There's I've still not beaten a level yet because that dude is such a badass at the end, which is nice. Makes it challenging, but it's not overwhelming. And I feel like I'm doing something each time I play and increasing my abilities. So it's nice. I like it a lot. And I think I've got 7.5 hours in it, and I started it yesterday morning.
Yeah, it's starting to catch on a little bit, which is nice.
Yep. So, but I do like it. I highly recommend that one for as cheap as it is too.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like a $20-$30 game. I came over and thought it was like bucks. I was like,
Yeah, I did the same. Same. I was like, I want to put it on my wish list. Saw the price, went and buy.
Yep.
Well, we played some stuff this weekend that I know Chicken has a couple of stories that he is dying to tell.
Oh, do I get to tell the greatest Lethal Company story ever lived? Ever. There will never be a moment as absolutely wild as this one.
I mean,
Okay.
I don't know.
I think it's the quickest round I've you could even imagine it was quick. Well,
Oh, this
I
is the
say
one right after I
round.
left. Is that the one you're talking about? Okay.
We died to thunderstorm. We died to lightning before. Like we all died right outside the ship, but that's fine.
Yeah.
But okay, so let me set the scene for people who haven't played it. It's a maze style collection game. So right after Oak goes, we're gonna play another day. We get off the ship.
One more day, it's fine.
We get off the ship. Cat takes stuff back to the ship. Me, Griffin, Baka go towards the door. We get to the front door, and we're like, okay, cool. I go in first because I think Baka's bringing up the back, and Griffin's right behind me. So we go in, and I always live by the mantra of go right. Always put your hand on the right wall, follow
Treat it
until
like a
you can't.
maze.
Yeah, treat it like a maze. Always put your hand on the right wall. So I walk in, door goes like that, and I look to the right, and I take a few steps forward. I'm like, oh, it's blocked off. And I go to take a few more steps forward, and I take a couple more steps, and I'm like, oh, that's blocked off.
So the
And then I
center
hear
one
the
also
door
blocked off.
behind me go clink, clink.
It was me coming in.
Yeah, and Griff comes in, and then I'm like, oh, we have to go. Oh, shit. And it's a turret in front of the door to the left. And as I look at it, its turret is swinging out from the door, so it's about to look at us. And I was like, "Gross shit!" There's a and you just hear doot doot because Griff goes to turn around
Yep.
and run out. And she just gets gunned down in the back, and I'm like,
I literally walked in, looked at it, and went, "What's that leaning against the door?" It's a turret, and by the time my brain goes, "It's a turret," I'm trying to turn my character and run, but I got shot.
goes. Doot, doot,
It
doot.
absolutely,
And I
it's
was
one of
like,
those things too, where like it shot me into oblivion. My body fell into the world,
yeah,
and they
she
couldn't bring
fell
me
through-
back.
She fell through, and I was like, "Damn, that sucks." So after she dies,
Instantly
it goes
dead.
back to its rotation. I'm like, I can't do anything. So I get in the corner behind it, and I'm just sitting there crouched, going, "Please, for the love of God, don't let it rotate all the way towards me." So then it comes halfway across the room and then goes back, and I'm like, "Okay." And I leave. Fuck that. That sucks. We cannot go through the front door now. So Baka's the last one left. I'm like, all right, we have to go to the back door. We got to try to get something. Cool. He finds it over there, and I follow him. He goes in through the back door, and I go in right after him, and I go to take a step forward, and I'm like, okay, let's. And for a split second, I hear beep, and I'm like, oh shit, there's a. Kills us both. There's a mine literally
in the back door.
inside the door. I took 2 steps forward and killed both of us. And Kat's like, hey, what happened? Hello? Hello? All right, well, I guess I'm leaving. And she just leaves.
Yeah, it was.
We had good games that night, though.
There was
'Cause
another
That was
one.
great games.
We did. We had some really good ones. There was another one that was, it was the 4 of us. It was me and Kat and Chicken and Baka. And Chicken, we had just landed on a planet. Chicken runs out of the ship first, and he's like, I hear dogs, shut the door. And so we shut the door, and I was like, oh, I think Chicken was gonna come back. And Baka was standing next to the door, with, like, and his brain was like, oh, I guess that's fine. Immediately opens the door as soon as I said it, and then a dog just rips my head off. It was right there at the door, so as soon as it opened, I didn't even have time to be like, no, don't.
Imagine if you will,
The one where Oak had a
at a
sleeping
video camera, looking and making sure everything's happening properly. There's stuff in front of your crew, trying to take care of your crew, and you hear boom, boom, boom. I was like, oh, guys, I think there's dogs outside. Then they hear nothing from me. Because when I turned around, there were 3 dog faces
In the ship.
eating me. So Chicken has to go back for a key. So he walks all the way back and he goes, oh, there's dogs over here. Oak. Silence. Oak. Silence. And then about that time, he gets a little closer and 2 giant dogs walk out of the back of the ship. And he goes, I believe that Oak adopted 2 dogs while we were gone. And then he gets up the ladder, sneaks up, gets up the ladder, looks to the right, and out the side of the ship, you can see one of the faces of the dog. He goes in and he goes, is this fucking dog sleeping? Inside the ship is a sleeping dog. Now he grabs the key, goes back, they get what they need, and he warns everybody. There's dogs. Be careful. Now, from my perspective, I'm dead. So
Yeah.
I'm watching everything unfold. And I can see I'm switching between everybody, just trying to see and everybody's coming up the thing. Well, here comes Griff with her bottles. Now, in the game, for those who have not played it, if you have your hands full, you can't climb things just like in real life.
Yeah, because the ladder, you gotta use your
Yeah.
hands and.
So Chicken is on his way up, and he's like, all right, everybody be careful coming up. Everybody does a great job dodging the dogs. Griff's the last one. And inside is still the sleeping dog. Keep that in mind. She jumps up, and when she does, all hell breaks loose. There are like 6 or 7
No,
dogs.
at first, I'm trying to like crouch down and sneak around the dogs, and so there was 2 like gonna cross my path.
Yeah.
And so I walked under the ship, and Chicken's like, you gotta use the ladder. I'm like, I can't right now. There's 2 of them, and I have to jump. I'm under the ship for a reason, not because I'm an idiot. Like,
So she jumps up, and on my screen, it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen Chicken do in a game ever. The dog wakes up that's on the inside. It gets up, runs past him because he is crouched and next to the wall. And it runs past him. I watched then everyone else get slung and moved around and thrown down. And then he just walks in and goes, boop, take off.
Yep. I was like, well, shit, this went Fumar
The
real
fact that
was
we
quick.
won that is insane to me.
I was pretty sure I was gonna die, and my thought process in jumping on was, okay, at least when I jump on and they murder me, the bottles will be on the ship so that they can use that for the quota. I am
You
taking
didn't
one
drop
for
it.
the team.
You didn't drop it. It grabbed you, took you and the bottles.
Well, it's
and
because
took off.
it grabbed me like mid-jump. So, I didn't really have a
Oh my
choice. But
God.
I was trying to be a productive employee, okay?
It was
My
it was-
perspective of that was when she went to go jump, I turned around and saw the dog get up, and then I was dead.
on my screen. You were doing this was you.
Yeah. Yeah, it was real rough, real quick.
It was insane.
We had
It's-
such a good time. That one
It's like
too. We had installed the mod that makes the little loot bugs say "yippee," and
Yippee!
Cat has a much better sense of like self-preservation than I do. And she and I were together, and I heard one because you can hear their little legs from a distance, like, and I was like, okay, it's probably one of the loot bugs. And then I heard "yippee" in the distance, yippee. And you're like, oh, he's here, yay! Because they're adorable. But I didn't think about the fact that I was holding a flashlight. So like, if you have loot and you don't give them a piece of loot, they get frustrated and then they try to murder you. But I'm watching it go back and forth yelling yippee, and I was like, look how cute it is. And Kat's like, we should go. I don't think we should look at that. And then it got mad because I had the flashlight and it turned on us. And I was like, bruh, she was already at the door. I was like, I see. She lived. I think I lived too. Yeah, because
You did.
Chicken and Baka came in with their weapons and smashed the bug.
Well, we had one where the spider came out and Chicken and Baka tried to kill the spider. The
We
spider
did kill
ends
the
up
spider.
wrapping
Oh no, that's
Chicken.
right. He killed both of us.
Yeah, it ends up wrapping
No, I
Chicken
still
up.
killed it though.
Yeah, Baka
Yeah,
and the
killed it.
spider
He died.
killed each other at the same exact time.
Right. So
And
I
Oak
picked
and I are
up.
just like, okay.
So I picked up Chicken. Here I am holding his little cocooned body, completely covered in silk. Find my way back to the ship, and dogs are around it. So I hide under the ship, and I was like, okay, I got it. And then about that time, I turn and look under, and here's a dog under the ship's face just eating me. And I was like, okay, well, I'm dead now too.
I don't remember what happened to me in that one, but I'm pretty sure I didn't make it.
I think Cat was the only one that did again.
Yeah.
Didn't
Okay.
you kill yourself with a ladder, Baka?
Yeah, he did that
Okay.
too.
I was
Yeah.
playing with the ladder and threw it down, and I was like, "Oh, neat!" And then it just kind of went.
Yeah, see, I
Yeah.
have low self-preservation. Baka has even lower self-preservation
He has
in this
none.
game. Yeah, like,
Yeah,
he's
done.
like...
Ooh, ladder dead. Oh, that sucks.
Baka and I
That's the
are...
very, very beginning of one.
like that "Dumb Ways to Die" song for a while back.
Oh
like,
shit! Someone's doing
No
that.
ways to die.
Someone's gonna do that. Someone's gonna make a fucking remix of "Dumb Ways to Die" and Lethal
yeah,
Company.
that is me and Baka. Like, we are the
you need
people,
to start
the poster
recording our
children.
Lethal Company stuff so that you can make it and you can get famous off of your one-hit wonder for "Dumb Ways to Die" Lethal Company version. I'm sure if there's not one, there will be one very soon.
You're looking that up right now, aren't you?
He is.
Yeah. Oh shit! Is there a video? Yep, there's already one.
Well, I'm sure there is, because there's plenty of dumb ways to die. Let me tell you, I've experienced some, and I've watched Baka experience some. Like, hey, Baka,
I like to
there's a
hear
cliff
that.
there with water. Don't fall in. Is he floating down there?
Oh goodness.
We
No,
had
the
so-
water's great. Come on down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not today.
We had so much fun playing that. Like, that game is such a gem. It is so good. I'm looking forward to the
Yes.
next time that we can play it.
First class
I
trouble. We
probably
played a
have
little bit of
the
that, too.
most variety ways of dying, and Chicken probably has the most ways of dying by missing jumps.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Kat and
I
I
don't-
just don't. Like, we know platforming is not our thing, and that is not a smart move for us, so we just don't.
Yeah, I don't jump. I just die.
But yes, we did play First Class Trouble the next night. It was Red's birthday weekend, so we were trying to play stuff as a family. And it was not very family friendly because the first round of First Class Trouble, Chicken and Cindy just straight murdered everybody.
Yeah.
Except for
Yeah,
Baka,
I was-
who was like, oh, I think I know it's them. I'm just gonna get in the escape pod and leave.
Baka had it too. I knew he sussed me out
I'm
when
so
he
mad.
followed me next to those syringes. He's like, "Oh, this motherfucker. Okay, I'm gonna follow him." And then he knew I was just baiting him with repairing that generator. And when we went past it, I was like, "God damn it, he knows. He knows." And then Cindy was telling me he killed Red, and I was like, "All right, we gotta kill Baka because he knows." And as soon as I left him, we broke apart. He went left. He's like, "I know what's about to happen. Sorry, ladies. I'm gonna have to let you die." So,
Yeah, as soon as I left, they killed the other two, and I was like, "Yeah, I knew something was fucked."
So mad.
So we played another round, and it sometimes things happen in games that only could happen to me because I call bullshit sometimes. Okay, this moment was so aggravating that I just wanted to
It was
scream
so
afterwards.
Good, though.
Okay, so we're in the second round, and I'm feeling pretty comfortable about Stinny being safe. So I have him come with me because we got a note that said Stinny and Chicken were on the same team. So we know that we were safe. So I was like, okay, we're going to stick together. I found a 6 shield, which basically protects you from getting shot in the neck. I was like, okay, cool. I'm sussing so hard on Griff. Like I'm feeling it's Griff. I think it was Griff and Baka that round.
Mhm.
And I was like, I'm like hard leaning towards those two, almost confident. I was like, I'm gonna get the 6 shield, and we're gonna get one of them out, and then we're gonna go ahead and deal with the other one with the final note. So I go and get it, and I come back, and we find Griff over there because she was off by herself across the thing, and I was like, oh yeah, how you doing, Griff? What you doing over there? And Red's behind me. I was like, all right, we got her now. I don't know where Baka ran off to, but we're going to get her. And if she tries to kill me, I've got backup. Or if Baka tries to assassinate me from behind and knock Red out, I've got protection right here. I'm ready. Then she fucking throws. Of course. She finds the rare goddamn throwing syringe and just happens to fucking have it at that moment and looks at me and is like, hey, Chicken, whip. And I die instantly in front of Red, and I'm like, are you serious? I have the fucking shield. I have the fucking plan. And of course, she finds the goddamn throwing syringe. And the worst part about that is that Snitty pointed it out to her. My partner, the one who I knew was innocent, just happened to point it out to her.
Yeah, the sweetener on that is that I was with Snitty at the start of the round, and helped him put out a fire that I could have pushed him in because nobody was around us, but I was like, nah, I'll give it just a little bit longer. And then helped him put out the fire. We walked over to the next room, opened the door together because it was a 2-people door, and I'm playing nice. And Snitty's like, hey, can you pick this up? Because he tries to, be funny and trick people, and I didn't even see it. It was the thrown syringe, and I was like, I can't pick that up. I'm not the bad guy. And then Chicken and Red come over and are outside this window that's in this room. So we're inside and they're outside, and he's like, I think it's Griffin and Baka, and and Snitty made the mistake of going out there to talk to them about it because for some reason I guess talking through the window is not good enough. But since he was outside, I was like, yoink, I'm put this in my pocket and walk away from this right now. And I know how it worked. I've never had one of those before, and it just so happened that like I was sabotaging oxygen stuff, and Baka ran up this hallway right next to where I was at, and I heard Chicken go, "There goes Baka. We gotta find him at Griff." And I was like, I'm gonna go back around this way, around the pool, and see if there's any more oxygen that I can sabotage before they surely catch me and murder me. And I saw
That was the plan.
I saw Chicken, and I saw Snitty further away, and I was like, well, this one's closer. How does this thing work? And so I lined it up. I was like, there's no way this is gonna hit him. They're already sure it's me. Whatever.
You were coming out of that little hallway and that bridge in front of us, and Red was literally right
I didn't
behind
even see
me.
him. Like, well,
Red
I knew he was
right
around, but
behind me. Snitty was off looking for Baka and trying to find him. Red was right behind me because I was like, okay, Red is safe. And she kills me in front of Red, and Red goes, huh? What happened? What happened? What happened? Who
I
died?
literally
And,
even
runs
laughed
off.
as soon
And you
as it
couldn't
happened.
say anything or nothing because
And
you
he
were
runs
dead.
off and doesn't say anything to Snitty or anybody else. And I yell at him afterwards. He's like, I don't know what happened. I got confused. It's like,
I wonder if on
she
his
died in front of you.
Well, to be fair,
Ah!
has anybody has anybody used that rare one before?
Yes. Yes.
With
we
Red
have.
around.
Okay, maybe not with Red around. But
Because-
it has
Even then,
been
he
used before.
Because
died.
I
I mean, that's,
died.
it's only what 2 months that it's been added to the game. 3 months it's been added to the game, so it's like it could be one of those things that he thought you lost connection or something like that. And he was like, "Oh, what happened?"
But he didn't even say anything to anybody else about it. Ah.
Yeah.
So
the city was like,
funny.
where's Chicken at? Red, I'm dead. Would you like to inform him that I got assassinated by the woman over there?
Oh.
I was so mad.
I
was
won
so
2
mad.
rounds that night. We
So
played
mad.
3, and I won 2 of them because the one after that, it was me and Kat on the ski resort. Snitty was trying
The
to.
Chaos Sisters were together.
Yeah.
Go figure.
I know, right? But Snitty was trying to fuck with me and Kat, and
That
he was
fucking round.
staying around. Like the rest of them, like Baka, Chicken, and Red, all went off to actually look for the objectives and try to find the logs and things like that to see what was going on. And Snitty was just messing with me and Kat, and it's like, you know what? Friggin' fine. And so since he was by himself, I grabbed a syringe while he was messing with her, and he started to run away, and I was like, why are you running? All of a sudden, and then murdered him, and the Chicken's like right there, and I was like, I don't know what just happened to Snitty, but he's dead over there, and Kat and I just take off, and so I'm trying to like tamper with the oxygen stuff, and they saw Kat, and so Kat's over there like distracting them while I'm like, they're gonna suffocate to death, and they did. It was so good.
So that round, we start off. Griffin City, we're off to the left. I'm over in that vicinity too. I go with Baka actually. I go with Baka towards the left first, and we open up a couple of doors, and then I hear Griffin City coming up behind us, and I'm like, all right. I like to play solo, a little bit of chaos, whether I'm good or bad. Always keep people on their toes. So I break off from Baka, and I grab the ski things, and I book it down the hill, and I go around to the other side and kind of get away from everybody. So I don't know what happened. All I know is Baka was up there, Griffin City were up there at some point. So I go around, and then I see Red over here and Baka coming in behind, and they're working on a fire extinguisher thing, or they're looking for logs. And I'm like, okay, cool. Sticking with them for a minute. And I'm like, I'm feeling comfortable with them. So I'm like, okay, I feel okay about this one. Where the ladies at? Where
We're them
they
Chaos
go?
Sisters.
So I walk back up to the top, and I walk over and I see Kat coming across like right in front of me, and I'm like, that's a little suspicious. And then Griff comes out of the building and she's like, Snitty's dead. I don't know what happened. And I'm looking at him going, oh shit. It's you, isn't it? It's you. And they're just like, maybe. And I'm like, oh dear God. She tries to hit me with something.
Kat
So I'm
did.
like, fuck. Yeah, I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm out of here. So I grab the skis and slide down the slope again. And I try to find Baka and Red going, it's the sisters. It's the sister. We get them. And the oxygen just goes boom, boom. And I'm like, oh no. Where's the key? And it just goes doom, doom. And I'm like, oh, we're so fucked. They got it. Boom, boom. We die.
Oh, it's so good.
Walked into them, and I don't know, you can't see faces in that game, but I can see the shit-eating grin on both of them going, hey, got him. I was like, oh,
It felt good,
God
man.
damn.
It felt good. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, God damn it.
Especially Kat. She's always like, I'm so innocent. Whatever, lies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
Why you always blame me? Because it's usually fucking you.
Yeah, I know, right? Because that's why. God damn.
Because it's you.
It's been a fun
Uh.
week. Like the amount of we always have fun with people's birthdays, and this month, like literally every week has been a birthday. Because I
Don't
started
worry,
it.
next week's another birthday.
Yeah, I started it. Then the following week was Snitty's birthday. The following week was Red's birthday, which was this past week. Next week is Oak's birthday. So I mean, like every week in February is amazing.
No, that's
Yay.
May. It'd be, I don't know an adjective for February.
I hate you.
A Febzing?
No,
That sounds like something you shouldn't do.
fanciful
That's fair.
February.
Fanciful February. Okay.
But last night, after it was down to just me, Baka Chicken, and Red, Red's like, and Snitty, let's play Scriblio. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's like digital Pictionary.
Yeah, it's Pictionary, but with
It's
Yeah, I
also
saw your
really
pictures.
hard to draw with the mouse. And some of the words, you're like, how am I going to make them get that?
We all
Like-
end up with like little pads to be able to draw.
It was really funny. Like, there was one that I laughed so hard, I cried on.
oh, there was one where I just basically shit out everybody because it was it was unibrow.
Yeah, and he
Right.
spent like
Easy.
15 minutes drawing curly hair on his little stick figure before
Okay,
he drew
so-
the eyebrows on.
So we gave everybody 120 seconds. So I was like, they're going to get it too easy and too quick. So I just drew a face and did the whole face and did hair and like little squiggly things off of the hair. And when I got halfway through time, I just drew a unibrow and put an arrow to it. And they're like, are you serious, you shithead? What the? You could have just did that right away. And I was like, yeah, I was trying to make it last a little longer.
Yeah, we're not artists, but man, that was so fun. Well,
Oh my God.
we can be artistic, but man, drawing with your mouse is difficult. So, and some of the words, you're like, how am I gonna, what am I supposed to pick here that they're gonna understand? Oh. And then watching the amount of times, because you see people's guesses, and so if it's misspelled, it still puts it in chat as a guess. And like knowing you're like, oh, you're so close. Why did you misspell that?
Oh, everybody with cappuccino.
Yeah, cappuccino was one. We're all like, but like we're trying to
Nobody
sound.
got it. Did anybody get that one?
I got
like,
it.
Nobody, okay.
Yeah, I think we got it close to the end. I think Red did not. He ran out of time misspelling it.
I was fucking dying. Like everybody was trying to spell it right, and they just couldn't get it.
Yeah, I well from the picture I was like coffee maker, and then he put the line towards the cup, and I was like, oh, cappuccino, and it took me a few tries to guess how to spell it.
Baka had rhubarb, and literally all of us are like, "There's an H in this word, and none of us know where it goes."
For rhubarb, it is RH.
Yeah,
And then rhubarb.
We know
it's
that now.
RH.
Like with
Yeah.
who put this useless letter in this
Yeah,
word?
well, my other options were like India and something else that made no sense, and I was like, well, this would probably be the easiest one out of the three.
Rhubarb pie.
I'll be honest with you. I know that rhubarb pie exists, but I have no idea what a rhubarb actually looks like. You started drawing.
I
it, and
didn't
was
either.
Like,
That's
you
why
look up a
it
piece
took
of
me a
celery?
second. I had to Google it to look at the
Okay,
picture.
Okay.
good. Because I was like, he's taking a second to start drawing, and then once the word came out, I was like, I bet he looked up a picture of it so that at least
yeah,
he had
because I
some
sure
sort of.
didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm not that
I mean,
cultured. sorry.
even with India, I would have had to look up a picture to see how that would have like lined out. I was like,
I think what's weird is rhubarb is not naturally sweet.
But it's a pie.
But it's a pie. Like you sweeten it for the. It's weird.
Strange.
It's
Never
like
had
somebody
it.
went, I'm gonna take this item that is not sweet and I'm gonna make a pie out of it. How can I make it to where it's like? It sounds like it was a last desperation. I'm out of food. I found this out in the dirt. I mean,
Could be,
make a
could
pie out of it.
be. A lot of our food is probably that. Where it's like, what can I do with this thing that I just found? Throw it in this thing. Perfect. Cuisine. Oh,
Funny.
we got anything else?
Well, is there anything else before we hit the 2-hour mark on this thing?
Oh my
I
god.
know, right?
Sorry, everybody. Oh, wait.
It's a long one. It was fun though.
Not that this is a game thing or anything, but just a quick update. We did finally get things worked out with our how we're gonna be uploading stuff. So I'll upload the most recent, like this year's stuff, but our back catalog is not on Spotify anymore because, you know what? It's on YouTube. Like up to episode 83, I think is the first one that we put on YouTube. And so before that, just know you missed a cool era, and that's it. Sorry.
There's many more eras.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, we've been doing this for 10 years now. You guys do realize this is 10 years, right?
Yes.
Ugh.
I do.
But
Been
those
doing
will
this a lot,
those will be back on Spotify. Then this year's podcasts will be on Spotify again. This week I'll get those uploaded. So that was fun. Just an update. Just in case
Yep,
you're
we got it
wondering.
fixed.
Yep.
It's there. I wonder if you go on Spotify, like if that's a constant feed, or if it's one of those where the back catalog's on there.
No, because the back catalog was deleted from our hosting site. Because
Okay, I gotcha.
yeah. So that's gone completely. So the Spotify feed doesn't have anything to pull from for the back catalog. So it will only show what's actually still uploaded on the host site.
I got you.
So-
Works.
Oh, and for the throwable syringe, it was a year and a half ago that it was added.
Okay,
Really?
So pretty much the whole time
we
we've been playing.
discussed it though because it was
December 10th, 22. Remember, this is 24.
I understand that, but we had it. We had a thing about it.
Maybe
talking
we just
about it.
didn't realize it was in there.
Yeah, I just remember talking about it because of the fact the neck thing didn't work,
I don't know.
and we were talking about OP that would be, I wonder if they increased the availability to it. Maybe that's what it was.
Maybe it's rare. So
Mm-hmm. So maybe.
All right, look, we gotta
Well,
get
she
out of
found
here.
it.
'Cause I gotta put the Power World server back up so that I can cook my eggs. Come on now.
no, we're not putting the Power World server back up.
I don't
Deal
have a
with-
problem. You have a problem.
I definitely have a problem, but I know when to not exacerbate the problem.
Fine.
I got more things I got to farm. I've been farming the shit out of all the metal.
I know. I gotta farm more stuff so I can make cement so that I can put my
I
walls
also
up.
need to egg hunt at some point because I'm just about out of eggs.
We don't have a problem, chicken. Shut up. Get us out of here, Oak Tree.
We appreciate everybody that hangs out with us every other week. At If It Respawn, you can hit the little subscribe button, the little bell down there, and you'll catch us every other week on here. Make sure you hit the like button. Hit it. The little thumbs up. You're not going to beat Chicken. Chicken's the first one always to be able to hit it. But, it is what it is. Also, make sure you go to twitch.tv/EliteChicken313. Chicken, you playing anything?
Deathloop.
Deathloop, more Deathloop. It's got Deathloop
and
going on.
Your other Game Pass game that you were talking about earlier.
Tales of
Probably.
Arise.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that one's next.
Sweet. Also, make sure that you go to twitch.tv/MDBOaktree as well as on Kick. I have started streaming again, so there's that. I'm up to about 3-4 days a week, so you just have to check it out and see where we're at on that. But for If It Respawn, I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Griff.
I'm Chicken.
I'm Bucket.
Bye.
See you.
Please hang up and try again.